What's up, everybody, and welcome to another episode of Team Chat Podcast, a video game show. I am one of your hosts, Jarrett Wilson, joined to my right by Rachel Mogan.
Buongiorno.
Buongiorno to you as well. How are you this fine day?
I forgot all my watches and bracelets because I ran out of the house late because I was playing the game that we're going to be talking about today, so I feel all discombobulated.
Oh, no, I'm sorry about that. Well, hopefully, reminiscing about the great time that we spent already in SILKSONG will,
way to give it
put
away.
you at ease. They're looking at the episode title. They know what's going on at this point in the show. I'm about to drop my phone.
Boy.
But anyway, yes, we are going to be giving our first impressions of SILKSONG today. The wait is finally over. It was like kind of like a whiplash. Honestly, with how much there was nothing, little bits, and then all of a sudden they're like, hey, it's going to be out in 2 weeks. And now it's here, and it's kind of like, whoa, it's here.
Honestly, I kind of expected at this late point in the year that they were just going to shadow drop it, so it wouldn't have surprised me if during Gamescom they had been like, all right, it's out today. So the fact that we even got 2 weeks of notice, I was a little like, oh, okay, great.
Sweet, we have time to prepare.
Yeah, so we have time to emotionally prepare and prepare our phalanges.
Our hands, because, man, they have been getting some exercise, some
our
work.
Carpal tunnels.
Right? Just gotta wake up and do the stretches every day.
Yeah.
Just like do each one. Boop, 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 boop,
Oh, boy.
Just all that stuff to work out those fingies. But when you're not working out fingies playing SILKSONG, you can be over here listening to us talk about SILKSONG. You can listen to new episodes of Team Chat Podcast every week or whenever we get around to them. And on podcast services around the World Wide Web, such as Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, and others. You can also find us over on social media, such as Facebook, Twitter, Threads, that's the one I was looking for, and Instagram
God, we wish
as
it were
well.
still Twitter.
Yeah, right? Jeez, good old days. And then also, you can find us over on TikTok, where we put up some little snippets of our gameplay, little episode recaps, and different stuff like that. So go check that out. It's a fun time. You can also find us over on our Discord server, where we have a lot of great conversation when we're not here recording the show. And finally, if you would like to help support the show, make the show bigger and better, you can head over to patreon.com/teamchatpodcast, just like Allison H., Fuchsia, Ark, Brandon W., Bro Mogan, Super Saiyan Ace, Erica L., Elise F., Michael B., Michael S., Snooty Boots, Susan M., and Zach S have done. And in return for supporting the show over on Patreon for only like $1 a month, and in return, we give you these cool perks, like getting the episodes early before their general Thursday weekly release, access to a private channel on our Discord server, the Rogues Gallery, as well as access to the exclusive patron-only show, Team Chit Chat, where Mogan and I talk about things outside of video games and just kind of like catch up on our lives before we go live and record the show for everybody. So if you want to check that out, that's over on patreon.com/teamchatpodcast. But if you can't do that, that's no big deal. There are other free ways that you can help support the show and tell everyone about it, such as, well, telling your friends and family and those you love about the show, right? Commenting, subscribing wherever you're listening to or watching the episodes, and all of that helps get the good word of Team Chat Podcast out to the masses. And for that, we're eternally grateful and love each and every single one of our viewers, listeners, and patrons alike. Heart
Emoji, XOXO, smooches.
Before we get into the main topic of the day,
oh, we're not doing that.
We're not doing that? We're just jumping right in? Okay. We have no
stuff to do.
There's literally nothing else coming out because we are only completely and wholly focused on SILKSONG.
The only update we should probably tell you guys about before you get to the end of the episode is we probably will be on a little bit of a break for about a week or two because I will be out of the country living it up in Japan.
So excited for you.
I wish I were going to Australia to hang out with Team Cherry, but no.
I was like, man, random. I mean, you're kind of like already going the right way. You just got to like divert for another 7-8 hours of flight time.
Yeah, for actually a lot of flight time. I'm so nervous though because I'm going to be off SILKSONG because I got it on PS5.
Yeah, I did too.
I'm not going to have
SILKSONG
access for like 2 weeks basically. I'll lose all of my muscle
so you
memory.
are going to have to like get as far as you can.
I have to get as
in this
far
next
as
like
I
week
can.
or so before you go.
And it's going to be rough. So anyways, there's going to be a bit of a break in the show as I go have fun.
And then she will get back and regale us with her wonderful time in Japan.
I'll see if I can find any cool Japanese video game like retro stuff for the room at large.
Yeah, that'd be really cool. Oh, what was the place I went to when I was there? Something Potato.
I'm sure I'll find it.
Yeah, but it's like a Super Potato. It might be just Super Potato.
Okay, that makes sense.
There were multiple stores around Tokyo, but they were all just like older video games, stuff like that. That's where I got that Masters of Terrace Kasi and Donkey Kong.
What I really
Japanese
want
versions.
is a Japanese version of The Legend of Dragoon.
Oh my god!
How cool!
I'm sure you can find it.
There's probably only one in the world. Don't look it up. I want to be surprised.
No. I'm trying to just see if I want to tell you if it's the right place. I want to say it's called Super Potato.
Pause for effect while
Yeah,
Jared.
Super Potato Tokyo.
Nice. Super Potato. All right, we'll definitely be near that neighborhood.
Akihabara. Yeah, that's the one I went to.
Easy stuff.
So yeah.
I'm either going to find The Legend of Dragoon or, I don't know, Meteos for the DS.
Oh.
For the original DS.
So yes.
That game was not popular, but I loved it.
Well, there you go. That's all that matters. Yeah. But yeah, so we'll be taking a nice little break while Mogan jets off across the seas and over to Japan and all that, and we, await her a return eagerly so we can hear about it.
But until then, we are both, me much more so because I'm faster and stronger than Jared, but also Jared, we have both been really sinking our teeth into Hollow Knight Silksong, the long-awaited release follow-up to the original Hollow Knight from developers Team Cherry. This is an indie game with a capital I. So because we actually can do it this time, the core Team Cherry team is only 3 people plus the composer, and that would be Ari Gibson, William Pellin, and Jack Vine. Composer, Christopher Larkin. And honestly, like those other 3 guys, I could give or take them, but Christopher Larkin...
Honestly, the people who provide the meat and potatoes of this game, fuck them. But
Fuck
Christopher Larkin.
Like Christopher Larkin, though, that guy. I mean, I don't even know where to start. So I guess we should start with anybody who might not be familiar with what Silksong is offering and maybe even what Hollow Knight was offering, because maybe you didn't play the first game and you have no idea what you're in for.
Well, so this is actually a good intro question that I had about this, being that I dabbled in Hollow Knight, but I never finished Hollow Knight. Is Silksong a sequel, prequel, or its own standalone thing, just in the same universe?
I truly do not know.
Okay,
I actually have no idea.
I honestly because obviously this isn't the type of game where you need the story of the first. I was talking to some friends about it too, asking them if they'd played it, and they were like, "Well, I haven't played the first one." Typical thing that I say, and I was honestly like, "I don't think you need it for this one."
No, it's not going to matter.
It's definitely there is a story to these games. You are trying to ascend in Silksong. You're trying to ascend up. Does it say the name of the mountain?
The Citadel.
The Citadel. Thank you. I knew it was something, but I could not remember it exactly. But you're trying to ascend and get out of the Citadel, whereas in Hollow Knight, what was the main goal of that one?
You are descending into Hallow Nest. So this is actually a really interesting dichotomy between the two, because in Hollow Knight, you played as the knight, a nameless little knight that just wanders into the vast, cavernous lands of Hallow Nest, descending down into the depths to presumably do something. The knight does not talk, so you have no idea what they're really up to, but you come to understand the story as you continue playing through the game and uncover more of the layers of the rot that lies at the heart of Hallow Nest. And as you do so, the knight encounters what would lightly be called in Pokemon Red and Blue terms, a rival. You encounter a main rival. There are many enemies along the way, but you have precisely one rival with a capital R, and that is Hornet. And Hornet is now the protagonist of Hollow Knight's Silksong.
Do you fight Hornet in Hollow Knight?
Oh, yeah.
Oh, really?
Yeah,
okay.
You must not have made it very far,
I did not make it very far.
She's the first big fight.
I honestly... Oh, really?
I mean, not the first big fight, but a lot of people refer to the Hornet fight as the learning curve. Because if you're not prepared for Hollow Knight...
Because I know I didn't make it very far.
You probably did. You probably fought Hornet at least once.
Yeah. It's also been years since I've touched Hollow Knight.
But anyway, so the point is, in the original Hollow Knight, you were playing as the knight. You encountered Hornet as your rival. You fought her multiple times throughout the game, eventually coming to a sort of tenuous allyship with her. And then I'm not going to spoil the ending of Hollow Knight, because there's a chance, especially now, that if you didn't already play it, you might go back and play it. I will say that the story is one of those ones that's kind of in the margins. It's not exactly hidden, but if you're not really paying attention and sort of reading between the lines, you might miss a lot of the finer details that the game is subtly trying to convey to you.
Right.
But the long story short is Hornet was a primary character and very intertwined with the story of Hollow Knight 1, and now she is back in Hollow Knight Silksong. And to answer your question, I don't know if it's a prequel, sequel, or like a midquel, like taking place somewhere in between the events, but the setup for Hollow Knight Silksong is Hornet has been kidnapped. Well, I suppose bug-napped because
I
of
also
bugs.
did like that little like intro animation.
Yeah,
I was
the
kind of
intro
like,
was nice.
"Where's the show, please?"
Yeah,
Like,
the intro animation was sick. Hollow Knight had a couple of scenes that were really nicely animated like that, but they were very rare. Again, it's a very, very indie game, very small team. I would rather they focus on the gameplay than the nice animatics.
I mean, it seems to me from the few hours that we spent in the game already, they paid a lot of attention to the gameplay.
A lot of attention. And I mean, they have to, because if you're not familiar, Hollow Knight Silksong is a Metroidvania. The reason to play the game is for the mechanics and the exploration. It is a mix of combat, platforming, and ultimately exploration as you're working your way throughout the world. But Hornet has been bug-napped. She is like contained in this cage and being taken along what seems like a sort of official parade or procession to somewhere. She doesn't really know where. She's in this sort of magical cage that she can't quite get out of, because you know from Hollow Knight, Hornet's fucking strong.
Yeah.
You expect me to believe that a normal cage could contain her? Of course not. It's a ruined cage. But they're like going over a bridge or something, the procession is, and I forget exactly what happens. I also think it was sort of intentionally obscured. Something goes wrong, like the bridge collapses, I think.
I thought she did something.
I kind of think it was just that the bridge
collapsed?
because the bridge is collapsing, and then as it's falling, she manages to break out of it so that she doesn't die at the bottom, I think. But she plummets down to the bottom of somewhere, and when she gets to the bottom, everybody else is dead from the fall, of course, and she does her initial little platforming out of that starter area. Mossholm, out of Mossholm. She gets up to your new, I actually forget what it was called in Hollow Knight. What was the main area called? I feel so embarrassed having forgotten. It could have been anything.
What was it called?
It was sad. It was very gray. Usually the starter village is very sad and gray.
First village,
Hollow Knight. It's probably something really obvious. It's probably like
Deep Nest.
Deep Nest. No.
Oh, no, Dirtmouth.
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 There we go. Deep Nest is not the right one. Dirtmouth. Indeed. So similar to Dirtmouth back in ye olden Hollow Knight days, Silksong has a starter village, more or less, and that is Bone Bottom. And I'm like, yeah, you're going to have a bony bottom when you're done playing this game after all this flat-butt gaming. So you get to Bone Bottom and you just sort of become acquainted with the pilgrims that are there. And this is actually a really interesting thing that is different between Hollow Knight and Silksong. Unlike the Knight, Hornet is not a silent protagonist. Hornet can talk. She has
it's audibly it's gibberish.
Yes. Audibly it's gibberish, but they're bugs. They have cute little bug language. But the text boxes, there we go. I don't know why that was so hard for me. Are all in your localized language, of course. So she gets to Bone Bottom and starts talking to the other pilgrims that are there and comes to realize that these pilgrims are all trying to do something called ascending the Citadel. It's like a holy pilgrimage. We don't know why exactly they feel compelled to do it, but many of them describe that they feel the call of the Citadel, and they honestly feel like, well, I have to do it. It's for the Holy Land. We have to ascend the Citadel, even though most of them, you quickly gather, will likely not make it.
Either by dying or turning in some way. Because like the early level enemies that you're fighting in these first few areas are pilgrims who are like warped or not warped, that's the wrong word, but
Corrupted,
like corrupted.
Yeah,
Thank you.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Yeah, they're not like of their sane mind. They are, a little bit more violent and aggro and wanting to just attack you at all angles. I do love though the first two like kind that you come across, like the roly poly guys. The one who just like leaps and the like sound he makes.
I love his sound effect. He's like
every time he jumps.
His sound effects are so funny. Like I absolutely know which one you're talking about, because him in particular, he has a very recognizable sound effect.
So that's really funny. So it's like there's a side mission that you get later that basically is somebody's wanting you to like acquire the like clothes of these fallen pilgrims and stuff like that. So that's when I was like, oh, that's what like connected the dots for me, that these people that I'm interacting with are just like failed travelers who I'm interacting with at Bone Bottom.
That's right. And to sort of deepen the mystery, to thicken the plot, if you really pay attention, you'll notice that in certain areas, those pilgrims don't start as being aggro. They're just sort of minding their own business. And then if you really look, you'll see little threads of silk quickly wrap themselves around.
I did see that in a few of them.
So when you get a little bit later in the game, I'm not done. Jarrett's not done. No. I'm not even out of Act 1.
I'm still very early on for reasons we'll get to later.
So to set the stage, I'm in Act 1, Jarrett's in Act 1. Yep. We're not going to be talking about anything, obviously, late game. We're also going to be pretty light on the story, but Silksong is already kind of light on the story, at least in the early game. So we're not really going to be super precious about spoilers because from our perspective, they're not really spoilers.
No, and she was, even before we got started, she was like, I'll try not to like talk too much. And I was like, honestly, this game, which is against norm for me. I was like, I honestly don't care with this one. Like, we can talk about what we're saying because it's only going to help me. and I can already tell I'm going to need it with this one. And two, it's just, it's not that kind of a game. So like the story beats, if I'd be like, oh, you're going to fight this boss later, I'm like, okay, cool, that's fine. That doesn't really hurt.
And also, I don't know if you recall, but back when I was first playing Hollow Knight for the first time, I had watched a very in-depth lore video covering the entire story of Hollow Knight before I even played the game.
Oh, yeah.
So I already knew everything that was going to happen, and it did not diminish my enjoyment of the game at all.
Because again, like you said, the story is a little light. That's not necessarily what you're here for. Yes, it's honestly like a platforming Dark Souls in that sense, where it's like Bloodborne, I have no idea what the fuck that story was about. But did I have a great time playing it because the gameplay and the exploration and all that stuff was so fun? Absolutely. So that's pretty much how Silksong is.
So that's the gist of Silksong's setup. You are now playing as Hornet. You have been taken to this foreign land called the Citadel. You're not sure why. You encounter these pilgrims that are also trying to ascend the Citadel. And Hornet, because she's very like, she's type A. She's a go-getter. She's like, well, if those fucking bugs decide to bring me here for their precious Citadel, I'm going to find out why. They want to take me up there. I'll take myself up there.
Sacrifice. That's why she was there.
Exactly. So you're trying to figure out from Hornet's perspective what's going on here. And also, what's up with the silk that's kind of winding itself around these other bugs and corrupting them? Because Hornet's power, again, sort of as a contrast to Hollow Knight, the Knight was sort of powered by the void, by the abyss, powers that came from darkness. Hornet isn't exactly the same. She doesn't ever give her bug type a firm definition, but she can create what appears to be spider silk, and she could do it in the first game. And now that you actually get to play as her, what you eventually come to like unlock as you play more of the game are the moves that she uses against you.
Oh, that's cool. So from Hollow Knight.
So fun.
So you like, that's really cool.
So she's got a big long needle, right? And she has a move in the first game where she'll just shoot the needle out like on a long spool of thread and then pull it back to her. And if you're not watching for that move, it will fuck you up. She can also
it's very fast fire.
It's so fast. She can also jump into the air and do this like little AoE sort of thread storm around her. Eventually you get to unlock that move, and then
sick.
It's awesome. It's
That's
so
awesome.
sick.
I have not got to that move
so
yet.
It's really fun to be playing through the game and be like, oh my god, I remember that move and that move, and now I get to be the move. So it's very interesting. But yeah, so let's just talk about the environments, the mechanics, what makes Silksong great, and then really we're not going to be able to say right now, is it the same as, worse than, better than Hollow Knight? We have no idea because we're not at that point yet. So don't be expecting that, but like, long story short, it's really good.
It's fun.
It's a really good game.
Yeah. Don't take that to mean it's not difficult because, oh my God. Like, that was like the initial reaction in our Discord and everything when the game came out. Everybody started playing it. Us and everything. We were all just like, oh, what is happening?
So
we are getting
hard.
stomped. As Brandon put it in the chat, he's getting his cheeks clapped.
We are
by
all
the game.
getting our cheeks clapped.
And so it's just like, and it is unrelenting. Like we were talking about this, that like even the damage that you take early game is harder and more than what you would take in Hollow Knight.
So unlike Hollow Knight, it is very much the case that the difficulty curve early on in Silksong is very much there.
Yeah.
Because in Hollow Knight, the first few areas, like not even just the village and the surrounding areas, quite a bit into the ways of Hollow Knight, it was really rare to encounter enemies that would deal 2 damage.
Yeah.
Because you only started with like 4 to 5 damage in Hollow Knight.
That's what I was about to say. It's not a ton.
No, it's not a ton, and you only start with 5 health as Hornet, and not every, but a lot of enemies, A, have moves that deal 2 damage, B, most early game enemies, like even scrub level ones, have multi-hit combos. So if you miss even like one counter or you jump slightly wrong, they're going to have follow-ups for you, and you might wind up taking multiple damage from a little scrubby dude like our
One
favorite
of those little
guy.
pilgrims. Like, they've taken me out many times. Because
they
it's just
sure
like,
have.
it often falls in like snowballs. You miss that first one and then you try to recover and you just can't.
You
and
just
they just
can't.
get you. You can't get out of the way fast enough. You can't dodge their attacks fast enough, and you can't hit them.
No, and you can't hit them. But so that is where the rogue-like elements come into play, because in addition to being a Metroidvania, an action-adventure, side-scrolling platformer, Hollow Knight, Silksong, and the first one also have rogue-like elements to them, meaning that when you die, all of your stuff sort of goes away, meaning all of your currency. So you lose all of your currency, and you start back at wherever you last saved. You then have to make your way back to where you last died, basically collect your souls. We all know. We've all played
It's
the
just
Dark
the souls.
You gotta go collect your souls back up, and then once you've got all of your currency, you can go on your merry way. If you die before that, you lose it for good, and then you have to start all over again. The main currency in this game is rosary beads, which from like a flavor perspective, I really like.
Yeah.
Because Hollow Knight just had Geo, just like currency.
It definitely seems that Hollow Knight is like, Silksong is taking a more of like pilgrimage, like religious focus. So I definitely like that rosary, the rosary beads, and then also that you can like. It was a very fun thing that I like that this game does also to kind of like help with that, because there are the shells, right, which you use for upgrading items and stuff, correct?
Correct. So actually, why don't we talk about that a little bit more?
Real quick. Let me finish this thought real fast. And so you have that, and then you also have the beads. I don't think you lose the shell shards if you die, correct?
So keep talking, I'll explain.
Okay. But you lose the beads unless you buy and or craft a rosary bead, like chain.
Yes.
And therefore you can store 80?
On a single rosary bead chain, yes, you can store 80, but there are bigger ones that let you store even more. Yes.
Basically, if you put your beads on that and you die, you don't lose them.
Correct.
Because it keeps them in your inventory, so it's a different place.
And then you can just crack them later if you're actually at like a vendor and you want to spend them. So this is very new to Silksong. This was not a mechanic that Hollow Knight had in any way. If you lost all of your Geo, unless you had put it in the bank, air quotes around bank, it was gone forever, and you just had to start from scratch. Silksong is similar but different. So with the rosary beads, you have the ability to basically get insurance in the form of these rosary in forms of strings of rosary beads. However, I don't know if you've noticed, but the price of the rosary bead strings is 80. But when you crack them, you only get 60. So
it's actually 20.
It's essentially insurance. Like you really are paying a premium for the insurance of like, okay, if I do get totally killed, I'll at least be able to crack something from my inventory.
To be fair, that insurance has been very helpful for me.
Yes,
so
it has been.
So I'm not complaining about it at all.
And honestly, I didn't pick up on that at first. And once I did realize it, I was like, oh, that's so helpful.
Yeah.
Because there's so many times that I've been out and about in the world and I just fucked up one time after another too many and I don't have any money. And then I encounter a vendor or the map maker and I don't have enough to purchase the map or the upgrades that I want. And I'm like, well, fuck. If only I had all my rosary beads.
Run those areas again and see if we can get the stuff we need. Yeah.
The other thing you're talking about is, what do they actually call it? Metal shards?
I thought shell shards or stone shards or something like that.
I think it's shell shards. I think you're right about that. So the other currency, air quotes, is shell shards. Now, it's not really a currency. It is, as you say, a crafting item. So what's actually happening is every time you die, you only lose shell shards if you used a tool. Because this is something that is also new to Hornet, is unlike the Knight, she's got all this gear. She's got stuff in her. You may not have encountered it much yet, but she has all this gear. Things like throwing stars, boomerangs, big
I think
long
right now the only
needles
thing
that she can project.
I only have the like silk spear thing, the like initial.
Okay, so that's one of your magic attacks.
Okay,
so
that's
that
not
uses
equipment.
her mana. That is
Okay.
not equipment, but she will eventually get, as it's in the case with me, she gets equipment. And when you use that equipment, it has like charges basically. So
Right.
if you equip the boomerang, you get 8 charges of the boomerang before you have to rest at a bench to replenish those.
Which uses your
using
shells.
the shell shards.
Okay, because I was wondering, honestly, just because where I'm at in the game so far, I was like, what purpose do these have other than
Yes.
the crafting? Because I was like 400, I think, is the max that you can have at the
Correct.
beginning. And I was hitting that and maintaining it very easily. And I was just like, this doesn't. What am I supposed to do with this? I just haven't got there yet.
It will make more sense when you're failing multiple times at a boss fight that you're also using your tools for a lot, and you keep coming back and you're not encountering enough small enemies in the time in between to replenish your
Oh,
shell
God.
shards, and you just see the number ticking down and down and down. You're like, I'm going to be so poor by the end of this.
It's like with my health potions in Bloodborne.
Yes. So basically, the types of enemies in Silksong are ones that drop shell shards, usually meaning like little scrubby low-level bugs that don't really have a mind, versus things like the pilgrims, which were thinking bugs at one time. They drop rosaries when you kill them.
Right.
So it's kind of a nice line of delineation between the true scrubs and the slightly more threatening enemies.
So you can unlock this various gear and stuff that you get. They use those shell shards. You can get them from a merchant in Bone Bottom to start off. But then, okay, this is the one. Well, I guess we can talk about where do we want to go from here?
Do you have complaints, grievances?
No complaints and grievances, just
Other than
stuff
the
to like
difficulty.
the difficulty, which is, I mean, that's not necessarily a complaint. It's just like getting used to it.
Yes.
Because it is very much like, it's not just to swing wildly and just try to hit everybody. It is very much, again, kind of Souls-esque in that it's timing. It's all about like getting your positioning right, getting your timing down. One complaint, I guess you could say, is that the damn jump dive attack is so hard to get down.
This is also new to Silksong. So the original Knight, everybody called it the pogo, because if you were airborne as the Knight and you did a down slash and you hit something below you, you would actually pogo back up a little bit.
But it was a direct, like,
and it
down
was a
strike.
direct down strike.
Yeah.
Hornets is not the same. She does like a 90-degree angled slash. And if you are not perfectly positioned at that 90 degrees to your target, whether it be an enemy or something that you need to bounce off of for the platforming, oh my God, it is so annoying.
It's hard.
I will admit that I was having the least fun with that aspect of the game.
Yes.
Someone in the Discord tipped me off that there would eventually be an upgrade that kind of helps with that. And that is true.
Okay, so it gets easier.
So, mild spoiler, but I do want to tell everybody so that you don't miss it.
Well, and honestly too, because like that's good to know, because the learning that dive is in like getting just obliterated by early scrub enemies when you just keep missing and whiffing
Oh,
it
yeah.
over and over again.
Oh, it sucks.
gets frustrating.
It feels bad.
Yes, it
Yeah.
does, because the game it's very unforgiving.
It's very hard. It's very unforgiving.
Yeah, so there's a lot of stuff like you just have every hit has to be perfect. Everything has to go well. Like the other thing, and this isn't necessarily, I'm not calling this is a me problem. I did run into a little bit, not a little bit, a lot of the typical problem that I have with a game like this that's a little more directionless. I got confused on where I'm supposed to go.
Yeah.
Now, I say this, and this is a mild, like one of the first boss that you'll meet. That you come across this area where there's a whole bunch of bells, like in the ground and everything like that. And then you come across a bug who's like in these web strands or silk strands, and you hit those silk strands, they'll break, but you can't get to the bug, and those silk strands come back. But when you hit them, they heal you. They not heal, they like fill your buffer.
Oh, your mana gauge?
Your mana gauge.
Okay, gotcha.
So then you can like get free heals without having to go to like a bench or anything like that.
You know, I actually didn't notice that.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I
So
was at full mana, so maybe I just didn't
didn't
notice.
notice
but
about
yeah.
it. So I kept thinking, oh, and then there was another part you get to later, and there was something with somebody said made me think like, oh, this bug who I found is like this being who like you'll find these threads, these silk threads throughout, and they're like free heal spots. And I was like, oh sweet, awesome. I'll run into that. I again don't know what like threw me off that's what the case with that is. So I was like, cool. Kept running back to this guy just every once in a while, just to get the heals, and then leaving again. And then I got to this part where it's in not Moss Home, but it's like the area above Bone Bottom, but it's also like green and stuff like that. It's one of the first two like areas you're in, because it's either the Marrow or is it still Moss
That
Home?
might still be Moss Home.
Okay,
just more of it.
But there's
also
a part,
the Shellways.
Oh no, I haven't
which I
done
don't
that.
think you were.
I'm not in that yet. But then there's a part in Moss Home where there's like a jump, and you can see like one of the flying bugs flying around a cage that you have to get onto, and it's basically just a series of platforming that requires that damn diving jump to do, because you have to bounce off of a flying bug, which don't fly in a consistent pattern other than just around, but they have little deviations and whatnot.
Especially if they notice you, and then they're fucking all over the place.
Good fucking They're luck. Chasing you. Yeah, good luck. So I spent a significant amount of time being like, this is where I have to go. Okay, well, it actually was a comedy of errors in multiple ways, because I had bought items from the one Chakra.
Yes, the map maker.
The map maker, Chakra, who, okay, maybe minor complaints. I can hear her song in my sleep.
I love her song. I love hearing her song
when
in my
you're
sleep.
dying 50 billion times and going through the same areas 50 billion times because you're trying to find the one passageway that you must have missed. Oh my God. I just hear,
boy.
Hello, hello. Oh my God, it's all over the place.
Awesome.
But anyway, I did not. So in talking to you, I was stuck trying to make this jump. I made this jump like maybe one or two times, quickly dying thereafter, but still convinced that's where the place I had to go. I eventually turned to you and like, I'm hard stuck.
Yeah,
I need help.
I got Discord messages from Jared that was like, I'm stuck. Help.
And basically, and then you basically said something about like, you need the map and quill. And I was like, well, no, I've bought maps. I'm getting maps. I did not realize that it was a separate item you had to buy.
Item. Yep.
Once I bought the separate item that then fills in and shows in your map where you've been traveling every time you rest at one of the benches, then I realized, oh, there's a place past Web Bug that I have to get to, which means I probably have to fight this damn thing. Because I also came across in my like random travels trying to figure out where the fuck I was supposed to go, I came across another like section of the webbing, but without him. So that reinforced my thing of, oh, little healing places. But then it said, when I got to that one, it says, use your silk spear. And I did, and it busted through it. And I was like, oh my God. So I immediately turn around, go to my bug friend, hack it up his webs a little bit so I can heal up to full perfection and say, I'm sorry if you're a friend, but I have to try this. And I shot off the spear, and sure enough, it's the Bell Beast, which is who unlocks fast travel. Now I'm set. Now I'm going. But oh my God, I felt like a fucking idiot. Yeah. I was like, holy shit. I almost didn't want to talk about it today because I'm so like, oh my God, I'm stupid.
So when you sent me your screenshots, because I was like, well, show me where you are on the map because I can't figure out where you're at exactly.
Yeah.
So he sent me a screenshot of his map and like where Hornet's icon was. And I was like, what's wrong with your map?
Yeah.
why is it all outliney? And I was like, what is he doing differently that I already have? And I was like, oh, the quill.
Yeah. I did not realize the quill was necessary.
Yeah, you got to have that quill.
Which I did like read the thing and I don't know. I don't know what I did and got confused, but I read it and I was like, yep, there's the answer right there in front of me this whole time.
I mean, there was a bunch of stuff like that from the first Hollow Knight game that until you know, you don't know.
Yeah.
So you can't really fault yourself for not knowing.
Well, because and it definitely seemed that like this area with this bug in the web, like he didn't necessarily seem trapped by it. He seemed like he was just in it. And with the stuff coming back, I thought that's just what this little room was.
And actually, now that you kind of talk about it in that framing of, oh, I thought these were just designated spots for healing, my initial reaction was, that's so stupid. Hollow Knight doesn't have spots for healing. But this is SilkSong. No, but it did because Hollow Knight had spas. It had hot springs.
Oh, yeah.
So you would just periodically find throughout the map a little hot springs. And if the knight got in it, it would heal up to full health. So now that I think about it, oh, there actually was a precedent for that. So if
I don't
that's
think
what
I
you
got
thought
to that
about
precedent in Hollow Knight.
I have no
but
idea.
still, that's still where I was just like that. I don't know. The game got me. It bamboozled me.
You got
and
boozled.
So, now that I'm through that, I'm making progress, finding new stuff. And I was like,
Yes.
oh my God. But the amount of times I'm just looped through all of those areas. And then even after I got the quill, I was like, all right, I'm going back to just make sure I didn't miss something. It really was a moment where I was like, oh my God, I'm
So
little dumb.
now that you have the map and quill, and now that you've unlocked fast travel,
Yeah.
I think the game is going to really open up for you and anybody else that's having trouble in the early-ish game like this. Just keep in mind that the way that you build on abilities in Hollow Knight is very, very satisfying. And eventually, you might feel really underpowered in the beginning, but eventually you're going to have all these upgrades. You're going to have all these new mobility moves that are going to let you interact with the world, even places that you've already been, in completely different ways, and it's going to feel awesome.
Yeah.
I am at the point now that I have unlocked enough new mobility-ish moves that I'm like, oh, it's getting so much easier. I'm
Good.
like feeling the lock-in. And circling back to my tip that I was going to tell everybody, Hornet, and this is also new to Hornet. Hornet has these things called crests, which was definitely not in Hollow Knight. Hollow Knight had charms, but Silksong has Hornet's crests. I only have 2 so far. The one that she starts with, which you don't even understand is really a crest at first. And then the second one that I got, which is in a place called the light spoiler. This is in a place called the Chapel of the Reaper in Greymore. You are
I've
not there
got there yet. No, I was about to say I've come across a chapel.
Yes. And this is actually something
that
that
one.
I initially skipped because I got to the Chapel of the Reaper, read the sign that said the name in the bottom of the screen. I said, that sounds hard. And I left.
I'm not doing this right now. I'm just going to turn around and go.
I was like, never mind, peace out. I feel like I'm not ready for that. And I just left and I went and did other shit. But then eventually I did come back to it, and that has a new crest. And that crest is what gives you a much more, not exactly straight down, but a much more downward facing down smash.
Oh,
So if you're
okay.
having a lot of trouble with the 90-degree horizontal Hornet down stab, try your very best to get to the Chapel of the Reaper, defeat the enemies in there, and get that new crest, because it will revolutionize the way you are playing the game.
Good to know.
It feels so much better now that I have that crest equipped. I cannot imagine going back to the previous one, but I know that there are also others because I've encountered other chapels.
So those crests then, those are switch out. You have to have
Exactly, yes.
one equipped at a time. You can't have, or 1 to 2, but you can't have
Correct.
every benefit from them all at once.
That's exactly right. And actually, this is also something that is new to Hornet, because back in ye old Hollow Knight days, the Knight could do all of its magical abilities at will. You could do its little send out spirit scream, I forget what it was called. You could do the big spirit wail, which was like an up smash. You could do a big magical down smash and all this other stuff, just depending on the inputs that you did. Hornet is not like that. Her kit is a lot more constrained. You have specific slots for specific things. You get one spot for your chosen tool, like the compass or the purse. You get one spot for whichever of her magical abilities you're going to use, like the spear versus the AoE Silkstorm effect. So you have to be really picking and choosing which of her tools you're going to equip, which of her magics you're going to equip, and which of her, I don't really know what you want to call them, quality of life equipment you want to actually have on her, just depending on the situation.
And because, too, you can't just willy-nilly change those at any time.
You have to be
can
at a bench.
only do it when you're on a bench.
You have to be at a
so
bench.
So you've got to be really mindful.
And the same thing does apply to her crests. So same thing as all of the other rules. You got to be at a bench, swap out those crests. I am having a ton of fun with it. And obviously, we want to talk about the music.
Oh, my God.
Oh, my God.
It's honestly...
I mean, the Hollow Knight soundtrack was already legendary, also by Christopher Larkin. But now the Silksong soundtrack, it's so... You were talking earlier about how Silksong is much more taking that corrupted faith twist.
Yeah.
And in my mind, I'm thinking so Team Cherry looked at Bloodborne and thought, we see your creepy churches. We would like some of those for ourselves.
I mean,
and then
honestly,
then they made Silksong.
Yeah, I mean, you see the inspirations and and everything.
But it's all excellent.
Yes.
It's all really well done, and that really reflects well in the soundtrack, because a lot of the areas include a lot more not necessarily words. It's just all word
chants?
Yes, chants. That's the word I'm looking for. Like sort of Gregorian-esque
Hell yeah.
chanting in the background. It's very cool. And there are all of these different story elements that you'll eventually start to pick up on that sort of hint at the importance of music to the game. Like there's a little side character that you encounter pretty early on that does this really cute little song and dance because she thinks that like the power of song will open doors for her, and it's like, oh, that's
yeah,
cute.
I met her.
Yeah, she's awesome. And then Hornet goes and does all this shit to actually open the door and emerge on the other side, and then the little bug is like, wow, the power of faith really helped us. And you're like, what?
Like, no, you mean the power of me and my
power of
needle.
me.
That helped you.
It's so funny. But anyways, I think it's really interesting how and there's a boss a little bit later on that I don't think you've encountered, but it's kind of like a conductor. Like the move set that it has and the music that
Interesting.
plays when you're fighting it, it seems kind of like a choir director almost.
Ooh, that's cool.
So it's like, oh, okay, I feel
really
like
cool.
the importance of music is really going to play into the story of Silksong, and I really like where it's going. I'm fascinated by that stuff.
Nice.
And who doesn't love a good corrupted church theme, right?
Right.
We
Did you-
all love that.
Did you ever have in your life a time period where you were like, fuck yeah, Gregorian chants?
Yes.
So did I.
but not Gregorian chants. There's a specific type of, I want to say, Bulgarian like female choral chanting that is the same vibe but a little different. And I was like,
That's
hell
awesome.
yes.
Yeah, no, I was like probably like 14, 15. And I was like, Gregorian chants,
Yeah,
man.
hell yes.
This is where it's at, dudes.
Which it still is.
Yeah, it's still awesome. I was just like legitimately had a CD
man.
of just Gregorian
Yeah,
chants.
it's incredible. So if you can get past the difficulty curve, I think you will have a ton of fun with both the combat and, for me specifically, I don't dislike the combat of Silksong at all, but I am much more there for the platforming. Like the challenging platforming is what really gets like my heart rate up. The combat is just what I have to get through to get to the awesome platforming.
See, this is perfect because I'm the opposite, where it's like I'm having the combat to get through the platforming because, whoa, that gets rough, especially with that one jump that I was trying, which I'm assuming, yes, I get an ability later on and it makes it easier and it's no big deal. But for now, I was just like, holy shit, why is this game so hard? And it honestly, like, kind of like, tripped me out a little bit more when Bro Mogan was the first person in the Discord to be like, so being honest, this game's hard. I was like, fuck.
If Bro Mogan thinks it's hard, we're
I'm
all
done. I'm
screwed.
toast. So, but no, yeah, it has been a very fun time, especially with, you know, like I was talking a couple episodes back, like how I'm really enjoying these more like harder, more hardcore experiences and stuff like that. This fits right in because that's all it is to a T. It's difficult. Like you keep saying, you beat Blasphemous, you can do this. I don't know.
I mean, truly, I don't know
as long as
either.
I don't keep like dumb locking myself out of areas just because I'm too ignorant to see the clues.
Now that you have the map and Quill, I think you're
should
going
be
to do
okay.
just fine. But I will also say that it's no walk in the park for me either. I have been hard stuck on a number of bosses, like to the extent where it's getting to be 11:59 p.m. on a school night, and I'm like, never mind, I'll just stop.
try this
I'll just
tomorrow,
come
I
back
guess.
tomorrow, and then usually on the next day, like I get it on the
You're
first or
usually
second.
working like
you usually
first,
get it on the
like,
first or
I
second
don't
try.
understand that psychology either, but
don't
like
either.
it's very funny.
But there's a boss like in the, again, kind of the early-ish game, one of the optional ones in a different chapel that I still cannot beat.
Oh, really?
I was fighting it before I came here, and I'm so, like, I can taste
You'll be fighting it when you get home?
I'm so close. Like, I can get to that final stage, and then just something stupid fucks me up, and that chain reaction starts
Well, I
happening,
mean,
and then you're screwed.
Hell, even fighting the Bell Beast. Like it did not take me very many tries to beat the Bell Beast, but it would definitely like I would be doing really good. I'm like, oh shit, this is it. This is the time.
And then 2 hits
And then
would get
2
you.
hits, or like the part at the end where he's throwing the bells and knocking a bell down at the same time with his attacks. It just mistime it, get hit by 2 of those bells. He pops up out of the ground and you're done. And I was like, well, fuck.
I could be remembering wrong, but I do feel like it is sort of not necessarily unique to Silksong, but much more prevalent that a wide variety of other stuff floating around in the ether is constantly also threatening you, in addition to whatever your immediate danger is on the ground.
Yeah.
And oh my God, it's so hard.
It
It's
is.
so much all the
A lot of
time.
stuff happening on the screen. It gets intense.
It gets intense,
But
also,
it's very fun.
It's also very fun, and it's only $20.
Which honestly, oh my god,
What a steal!
What a steal! And I mean, it's only been not quite a week at the time of recording, and by the time this episode's out, will have been about a week. And before, you were saying in the Discord, like wanting to take guesses on how many what its sales numbers are, have got to be like multiple millions at this point.
They have to be.
Like they've definitely made their money back already. Like
I
they might have
certainly
made
hope
their
so.
money back day one, honestly.
So they probably did, because for at least a few days there over the weekend, SilkSong was the #1 best-selling game on Steam, on the Nintendo eShop, on the PSN. It crashed multiple stores because everybody wanted to get the game so bad. But something else
And
that
it's
we
had like what 500,000 plus concurrent players, like multiple
on
days in a
Steam,
row. Yeah,
and that's just what we know from Steam.
Yeah.
So I think they've confirmed at least 1 million Steam sales, but we don't know what the other platforms are like yet, and it's probably honestly more.
Yeah, probably.
So it's I feel like Team
and you
Cherry.
don't know how many of those people are double dipping and buying it on Steam or in the PlayStation Store and all that
Yes.
stuff. So man,
So for anybody that's planning to get the game right now, it is only digital release. I believe they're eventually planning to do a physical release, but it's just digital right now. But it is available for basically every platform: Steam, PS4, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, Xbox One, Switch, Switch 2. You can get it for almost
PS4 also.
PS4
Oh
also.
man,
Yes.
so yeah, literally everything.
Yeah, they
Okay.
did. They did the old ones too, which also
That's
great
awesome.
idea, Team Cherry,
Yeah.
because not everybody has a PS5.
Well, and honestly, like this time, I was definitely like, I'm getting it on PS5. I'm not doing it on the Switch anymore because I haven't touched my Switch in like a year.
Shit, let's not talk about it.
Let's not talk about it. But yeah, so I was like, I definitely want this for the PS5. Also to get the trophies, which has already been so fun getting those. I'm not popping very many, but I
I was
have
about to
popped a
say,
few.
it's cute that you think you're going to get all of them.
Oh no, this is, I can already tell this is not going to be a platinum game in any way, shape, or form. I'm going to get through it and thank my lucky stars
Yep.
that I did.
I mean, if we even get to the end, we'll be so happy.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
It took me a long time to
Yeah.
actually finish Hollow Knight.
It's going to take a minute. And two, you know, like I'm still trying to finish up Clair Obscure. You know, I'll probably be able to finish that while you're in Japan and all that stuff.
Oh,
Because
yeah,
I'm
good
getting
idea.
I'm getting pretty close. I gotta be doing that. Maybe I can do that while reschedule our I can do a little Claire stream or something while you're
That's a
gone.
good
Give the
idea.
people a little like
a palate cleanser.
so they don't forget about us, you know.
So
They're
they don't
gonna
forget.
miss us
I
so
mean,
much.
It is going to be the Game Awards this year is going to be so funny because it's going to be Silksong and Clair Obscure in every single category.
Yeah. It's
Best RPG,
yeah.
best action RPG, best action game,
Soundtrack.
best direction, best soundtrack. It's going to be all.
It's
going
going to be all over the place for both
best
of those
voice
two
acting,
games.
best
Ooh, excuse me.
performance. It's all going to
Yeah.
be Clair Obscure and Hollow Knight Silksong.
And I mean we've played some other great games this year too, like South of Midnight, Doom, The Dark Ages. I know that was for
Fantasy
me.
Life.
Fantasy
Fantasy
Life.
Life is
So
awesome.
like there have been 2025 is shaping up to be another banger year of games, and I mean, well, we're all shaping up to be. We're more than halfway through. Good God, it's already September.
We're almost done.
We're almost to the Game Awards. Oh God! So you know, it will be very interesting to see how that race shakes up. Up until Silksong, and like it's at this point, I would have said like, yeah, sure, Clair Obscure's got it in the bag, and it honestly still might.
It still might. Yeah.
It's pretty exceptional in its own ways as well. So yeah, it'll be interesting to see which one takes it, but it's got to be one of those two.
Mostly, I want to see which of the two of them actually wins best indie game, because I feel like that's going to be the SmackDown arena of like,
Yeah.
oh no.
Well, but honestly though, could you name at this point a triple A game that from a big studio that could take Game of the Year over it?
No, not even
Exactly.
close. No
Yeah.
one can.
I think this
What
year,
game?
yeah, this year I think is gonna be. I mean, there have been other years of Game Awards where like indies have taken some titles, but I have taken some awards. I think indies are sweeping this year.
They're gonna do a big sweep, and everybody at the EA and the Activision are gonna be crying tears into their bowls of cereal or whatever they do when they're watching Game Awards. I just assume that's what they
Everyone's
do.
having, some
Their
Cocoa
cinnamon
Pebbles.
toast crunch while they cry as they lose awards.
Oh man, so that will like I've been thinking about that. The Game Awards this year are going to be interesting.
It's going to be interesting. But so those are our first impressions of Hollow Knight Silksong. It is an excellent, tight, well-crafted game. The soundtrack is astonishing. The environments are beautiful. The gameplay is unforgiving, but very satisfying when you start to learn more about it. The progression is really good, as I know that now that I've gotten a little bit further in the game.
Yeah.
And it's bigger than Hollow Knight. We haven't really touched on that, but
but
Team
it is
Cherry has
definitely
said
bigger.
Silksong is bigger than the original game, and I easily spent 55 to 60 hours on my first playthrough of Hollow Knight.
Do we think that there's going to be like a Path of Pain
Oh,
similar
for
thing in
sure.
here? It's just
For
like way
sure.
later in the game.
Oh yeah, and actually, I think the Path of Pain. Don't quote me on this because I can't recall if this was definitely the case. Path of Pain may have actually been part of a DLC pack.
Oh,
And
okay.
I think there's probably certainly going to be some sort of DLC for Silksong as well. Why would Team Cherry leave money on the table? Take our money. We will pay you so much money.
Yeah.
Also, it's looking really, really, really hard to justify those $80 Nintendo Switch games now. That two of the best games of the past 10 years have come out, and they've been $50 and $20 respectively.
Yeah, Claire Obscure was only 50, right? Yep.
So, anyways, everybody, you don't have to pay
Take
$80
notes.
for good games.
Take notes, publishers and developers. We're watching. We're getting
Yeah.
wise to you now.
Yep. Anyways, so
yeah.
Silksong's great, and tune back in a year when we're finally done with it.
Well, yeah, we'll hopefully be able to get through it and do our wrap ups of both Claire and Silksong, hopefully before the Game Awards, so we can actually make our choices. But
that's
probably
so-
not.
I
So
was
Claire,
gonna
at
say-
least. I'm
Yes.
finishing Claire. If I can't finish Claire Obscure by the Game Awards, I have no business doing this
I
anymore.
honestly do feel like, though, Claire Obscure was sort of great practice for Silksong because
Yeah.
it's also fairly
lot of
unforgiving.
timing.
So a lot
Yeah.
of timing. So
A lot
good
of good timing
practice.
stuff. Hell yeah. And of course, if you are playing Silksong and would like to share your thoughts of it as well, oh, look at that. Look who just started playing. Snooty Boots right there
Snoots my
is
boots.
playing Hollow Knight Silksong. So if you as well have been playing Silksong and want to let us know your thoughts on the game, well, we would love to hear from you. Send us an email at teamchatpodcast@gmail.com. Jump onto our Discord and talk about it with us there. Or, always you can comment below wherever you're listening to or watching the show. So with that, everybody, though, thanks for hanging out with us as we talk about Silksong. Like we said at the beginning of the episode, we will be taking a little break, a little hiatus, 1 to 2 weeks maybe, and stuff like that. So, and then when Smoking gets back from Japan, she regales us with her tales of travel. It'll be a good time.
And maybe our Claire Obscure final review.
Ooh, yeah. I'll shoot for that while you're gone. I'll be shooting for that while you're gone. Because then it's fucking Ghost of Yote. Oh my God.
We got a chop.
We got
Jared,
stuff
chop.
to get through. So we will do that. We're going to get to our gaming. We'll let you get back to your gaming as well. And we'll see you on the next episode, everybody. Bye.
Adios.